All right. What we're doing is we're installing a brake to hold the clutch instead of this old friction brake or scrubber brake. It did not have any instructions, so I'm going to demonstrate how I've interpreted that it gets installed. Found two bolts that fit these four bolts or screw holes in the engine block. We're going to install those, torque them down to 15 foot-pounds, 15 to 17 foot-pounds. After that, we're going to install this. Right now I'm just mocking it all up. It does come with a shield. It would usually be installed on the top, and that shield would fit there. What we already have, we'll be able to get rid of that pedal too. What we already have is we also have to have a chain guard. So I'm leaving these two bolt holes open for the chain guard. We're using the extra length of the, this is basically just bicycle handbrake cable. We're going to use the extra length, bring it around, trim off the housing, install it all, and then we'll trim off the excess cable. So that's what we've figured out so far. We've got the band itself, and then this bolt. What we want to do is put the bolt through that hole, put the first jam nut there, and then we'll put the band in there. Now that all being said, is the chain still has to go through here. The way I'm installing the clutch is I want the motor as far this way as possible, so I'm going to install the clutch with the teeth facing the engine. Once we build the chain, we'll have the chain going through the inside, so the clutch or the clutch and brake will have to come off to get the chain off, but generally you don't want the chain to come off. You want to just disconnect the chain at the rear wheel and take the rear wheel off if you have tire problems. So we'll get this clutch, we're going to screw that through the jam nut, and what the jam nut allows is you to move the clutch band to where it centers on your clutch on the outside. You don't want it to be too far towards the engine, you don't want it too far to the outside. So that's what these jam nuts are there to adjust. Let me get the other jam nut.
Do you want me to stop it?
And keep rolling.
Okay.
And then this, I'll get the jam nuts wherever I want them. Now see, we got that, what are those called? The nut that's in that stamp metal. Riv nut. So we got that riv nut there, and we want this bolt to go all the way into that riv nut. Preferably with a little Loctite. I don't have any here with me. Oh, doing that. There we go. All right. Still, even with the clutch facing, the sprocket facing the engine, I'm seeing my engine is too far this way. I do have an adjustable engine mount, so I'll loosen those bolts and slide the engine that way. And then if I adjust it too far that way, I do have some shims to bring this clutch back out. I prefer shim in one position or the other. If we're jammed up against this side, we'd want a shim. Being this crank has extra length to it, we're just going to shim it against the engine, and then we use our Allen set screws to hold it in position. We might put the bolt with the washer on the other end in case it tries to work its way loose, it stops there. But now we've got a pretty good idea of what we got there, and then we're also looking at this needs to go that way a bit. So we'll start by adjusting the engine, and we'll come back and fix that.
Go.
All right, we're back. What we've done is we've gone ahead and installed the clutch. We've aligned the engine via engine and clutch with the chain here. So we've moved the engine back and forth this way until we were happy with that. So we've got that part done. We've installed this clutch, the cable housing into this ferrule. We'll adjust and tighten this later. We'll definitely tighten this to where it holds that cable housing. I believe this is more of an adjustment point in addition to your cable adjuster up here at the handbrake. The next step will be putting this spring in, and that spring goes there from what I understand. Yes, it pushes it back, and then we'll put this through there and have the cable run through it. That's how the cable will actually actuate this band, and then we'll set that Allen set screw on the cable.
Good.
Yes. We've gone ahead and snugged that part up, and we've got the spring on as we talked about before. We're going to run this in, run the cable through once it's in the band, and then we'll set the Allen set screw in there. You might consider putting something there and then a Loctite on the threads, which I don't have Loctite with me today. Okay, there we go. We fished that through there. And I'm pulling out all the excess slack that I can against that spring, and that's in preparation for this. I'm even actually pushing the clutch band in there as tight as I can, knowing that this cable's got quite a bit of stretch to it and give to it, and might need a little something to hold that. Here, I'll just hold the cable tight, stretching it, and snug that Allen set screw as snug as I can. There we go. Alright, another thing I just realized, we should have started with this all the way in and use this as our primary adjuster, and then the one here, the hand grip, as your secondary adjuster for fine tuning, because you can fine tune that while you ride.
Go.
Alright, I've learned a new trick to go ahead and tighten that band and pull the excess slack out of your cable. Use those pliers as a fulcrum against that band. I might have to loosen it some. Alright guys, the monkey bike is now completed. I've made my first pass ever, first time slip ever. Not even going to show you all that, it's not worth it. But we've made a pass on the monkey bike at the No Name Nationals. Threw the chain off immediately at the top end when I slowed down. And one of my buddies from the crew here at the track come back and towed me with the quad back to my pits and to get my time slip and stuff. So y'all behave. We'll see you in the next one.